Thank you very much for joining us today. I'm attorney Gloria Allred, and with me is Jane Doe, who will make a statement, and my law partner, John West, who will be available to answer questions. Today, David Arthur Riden, formerly an assistant football coach at Los Osos High School in Rancho Cucamonga, California, was sentenced. According to the district attorney of San Bernardino County, quote, Riden pled guilty to 3 felony charges, including possession of over 600 images of child sexual assault material and using a minor to produce child sexual assault material. He additionally pled guilty to secretly photographing a minor. As part of the plea agreement, Riden is facing 9 years, 4 months in state prison, as well as lifetime 290 registration as a sex offender, end quote. The district attorney also stated previously that, quote, in total, 21 juvenile victims were identified, end quote. Mr. Riden was arrested after a hidden camera belonging to him was discovered in the locker room and bathroom used by Los Osos High School. The girls who were changing their clothes there before, during, or after the girls engaged in high school sports. When many of the girls and their parents learned of this shocking news, they contacted me. On their behalf, in September 2021, my law firm, Allred, Morocco, and Goldberg, filed a lawsuit against the Los Osos High School and the Chaffee Joint Union High School District. We represent 48 victims of Mr. Riden and the school district. Our case is still being litigated. Many other law firms also represent victims. Although most of our clients have chosen to keep their identity confidential, one of the victims we represent decided to speak at the sentencing hearing today. She is Jane Doe 1 in the criminal case, but she has decided to reveal her name and allow her face to be shown today at our press conference. She is 18 years old now, and she feels strongly that she wants her voice to be heard. While we respect and always want to protect and support victims who do not want to reveal their identity, we also support those who want their voices to be heard and are willing to allow their identity to be known. Jane Doe 1 is very brave, and we are honored to represent her. The sentence imposed by the court this morning was very disappointing to many parents that we represent. Although Mr. Riden will be sent to prison, some parents felt that he should be sentenced to substantially more time in custody than the 9 years, 4 months to which he was sentenced. Many parents and their daughters have been on an emotional roller coaster, and they feel and still feel that he should have been sentenced to more time. And this roller coaster continues with this civil case. They are still seeking answers to many questions that they have, such as were images allegedly attained by Riden shown and distributed to others? And is there any evidence that images of the girls were circulated on the internet or offered for sale? We hope that in the litigation of this case, that we will be able to learn the answers to many of their questions, and also to find out why Los Osos High School failed to protect their high school girls from being victimized. The parents of students we represent and the students want and deserve justice and accountability for the significant harm that their daughters have suffered because of the criminal conduct of Mr. Riden and the failure of the school district to prevent these crimes and to keep their students safe from victimization when they were students at Los Osos High School. We intend to fight for justice for our clients in the civil justice system now that the criminal case has concluded and Mr. Riden is sent to prison where he belongs. And now I'm very happy to present our courageous young woman client who is also victim in the criminal case, Jane Doe, #1.
Thank you, Gloria. Hello, my name is Jordan Stotts. I wasn't going to come up here and make a statement because I thought if I did, Riden would win. Because I let what he did to me and other victims affect me. But that's exactly right. It affected me and ruined me at the same time. I'm making my statement because you and this court should know that. Riden, the game you played was sick. I talked to you almost every single day, thinking how nice and sweet of a person you were, and thinking of you as a coach who loves his job. But this whole time, you've been going behind all of our backs, which is sick. You made me lose faith I had in finding trust in good people and other people in general. That trust has now been gone. Now I think of people that I know as who can do harm and hurt me. I know as people who can do harm, you truly destroyed my life. Once I was a girl who could take on anything, now I'm a girl who's scared and doesn't know what to do. Through the actions you have done, I have lost a lot of self-respect to myself with going through life. To add to that, I have a few words for my high school. I'm not here to tear down my high school or shame the school in any way, but I've been thinking about something from the very beginning. Did Los Osos really provide a safe environment to protect myself and other students against predators? All schools have a #1 job of protecting every student, staff, and employee to provide them with a safe environment where they can feel safe and protected. I feel my school failed with both of those things. I didn't feel safe nor protected during this time. The thing is, once the incident happened, Los Osos did provide us with counseling where we could go to talk to people about what happened and get help. But what Los Osos didn't do was take further action and make change after the incident. Nothing was set in place in the bathroom to make us feel safer or around the school after this incident occurred. The school did not address the situation in a manner that they should have. They did it in a way that led to football players and students mocking my team and my students, classmates, and shaming us. To further this, Los Osos also failed to address the teachers on how to properly handle this situation. There was a message sent out saying that the district will continue to train staff on effective ways on how to address the victims in a sensitive and equitable manner. They failed to do so because many kids left class crying and in distress because a lot of those teachers didn't let them leave the class. Even though a lot of them did, a lot of the teachers questioned them, made them think maybe they don't matter or they're not important. Not only did Los Osos fail to protect me and my classmates from predators, but they failed to train their teachers and students correctly on how to handle those situations. Because if they handled those situations a different way, maybe the outcome of this would have helped students believe that they have a word and they can be heard. I would like to end here. I'm not saying these things because I have nothing better to do. I'm saying these things because this is how I feel from a victim's point of view and what I experienced personally and how I've been treated by kids, staff, and the school of Los Osos High School. I know Riden knows who I am. I hope my statement makes him regret all he has done and tears him apart for life, because I know he has torn many kids and students and even family members and staff at Los Osos High School, and we will never forgive him for what he did.
Thank you very much. Now we're happy to take some questions. You can just go to the Q&A or the chat, and I see that Rob McMillan is raising his hand. Rob is asking, how do you spell your name, Jordan?
Jordyn Stotts.
Thank you. Actually, that was Sophie that asked that question from Associated Press. Are there any other questions? Okay, we're going to have them in just a moment. They're typing. And Rob is typing his question. Okay, Rob's question is, can you please explain, and this is to you, Jordan, more about how you were mocked by other students?
I and other victims were mocked by other students because the way that the school addressed the situation, they didn't do it in a manner where students could really grieve and understand what the victims really went through. Students were going around the halls, staring at us, posting on social media, talking, mocking. Even a football player chanted things at us that were very offensive to make us feel bad, like this was all a joke, even though it wasn't a joke.
Thank you. Margaret Carrero is asking, how many charges did Riden plead guilty to? And I believe that I read, and I'm happy to read again, the statement of the district attorney. And the district attorney of San Bernardino County is quoted as saying, Riden pled guilty to 3 felony charges, including possession of over 600 images of child sexual assault material and using a minor to produce child sexual assault material. He additionally pled guilty to secretly photographing a minor. End quote. Next question. This is from Sophie Austin of the Associated Press. What does accountability look like in this case for those at Los Osos High School and or within the school district? I think as to my clients, our clients in our civil case, accountability means finding as much truth as we can about what happened, why it happened, the length of time that camera was hidden, what complaints or did the school receive from those who might have been suspicious prior to the camera being found after it was hidden. Basically, they want answers to as many of their questions as they couldn't get, and we will be in the discovery phase, and discovery in a civil lawsuit means that we have an opportunity to take depositions. That is for those that we think should be deposed in other words, they will have to answer questions under oath, and those and there will be many questions posed to them. What did they know? When did they know it? What didn't they do that caused this to happen, and to this recording to take place, this camera to be there for so long without anyone discovering it? There are just many questions, but I think the truth is as important to, or in some cases more important to, our clients, the victims and their parents, as any form of compensation, because we do want to know, because we don't want this ever to happen to anyone else at that high school or any other high school. So I'd say that's what accountability looks like. And, you know, rather than fighting us, I think that the school should, and the school district should join us in providing those answers to us. And they will need to provide some in interrogatories, which were written questions to them. And as I say, also in person under oath or on Zoom under oath. And of course, at the trial, if it gets to that point. So thank you for that question, Ms. Austin. And then there is a question from Laura Diaz of Channel 11. What would make you feel heard? Jordan.
Honestly, just having a voice like I am right now makes me feel heard, and it makes a lot of the other victims feel heard.
Thank you very much. The next question is, how grateful are you that Riden was caught, especially considering it stopped others from being victimized?
I am very grateful that he got caught. Honestly, a part of me was very surprised and very destroyed when we did find out. But on another hand, we were happy because it put an end to this trauma, and it made it willing for other people not to go through this again or go through this. And they wouldn't have to feel our pain because it came to an end.
And there is also a question, what more should the school district, this is from Rob McMillan, have done beforehand to prevent something like this from happening? Well, go ahead. What would you like to say, Jordan?
That's a good question. I feel like the schools, even besides Los Osos High School, other schools, there's incidents like this, not the same incidents, because they obviously failed somewhere in the system of providing their students, teachers, and staff the right training, the right practices, and the right moral beliefs.
Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of questions about how, you know, the coach was able to get into that room, the assistant coach, and hide the camera, and how many times he was in there, and so forth. Because this was a plea agreement, that is, there will not be a trial because the defendant entered the plea of guilty to certain crimes. There were many more that were filed against him, and the district attorney issued a statement some time ago about all of the crimes for which he was charged. But because there's a plea, there will not be a trial, and so that we will not see all of the evidence that the district attorney has gathered. But we're going to do a lot of discovery in our case, and we're looking forward to law enforcement cooperating with us to provide us as much as possible from their investigation. But yes, we definitely would want this to be prevented. There's another question from Rob McMillan about for Jordan. Jordan, can you address the level of concern that you have that these videos may turn up on the internet someday? Have you gotten any assurance from the defendant that these videos weren't distributed?
That is a very concerning topic. And me personally, what I have found that the videos were not sold, they were not distributed through the internet.
That you know of, right?
That I know of.
Okay, so we don't know. We haven't gone into the dark web and other places, but we're hoping that's not happened. At this point, we can't say that we know that it hasn't happened. Of course, the absence of evidence is not evidence, but that is one of our goals, if at all possible, to learn if there is anything there and to get it taken down if it is there. Another question is from Channel 11. Could this happen in a boys' locker room or just aimed at young women? As far as we know, our clients are all female. Of course, it could happen in a boys' locker room as well. And so every parent should be concerned, every school should be concerned, because every parent wants to send their child to a safe educational institution. I mean, this is the children's workplace. They're learning there, they're trusting there, they're feeling safe there, and they have a right to be safe there. So there is a question about how the trauma has manifested for you, Jordan. You may decide not to answer it. But if you do wish to, you can, or in the alternative, without naming names, if you want to talk about what some of your friends have indicated they've gone through because they've been victimized, feel free. But of course, don't name names of your friends. Go ahead.
That is a really good question because I feel like a lot of people are scared to come out and say what this has led to. But for me personally, I am willing to say what this has led to because I used to be a very outgoing, adventurous, like I would climb through walls, jump over anything before this. Once this happened, this led to a lot of anxiety and depression because I didn't know how to feel. It's something that it's not there, but it's something that it just hits you any moment. So that's what I've felt.
And that makes sense. And that's been my experience with victims. They try to kind of put it away sometimes in a box, and then something triggers it coming out back at them. Maybe it's at night when they're asleep, maybe it's during the day. And it's a way of trying to deal with the pain, put it away, but then it has to be dealt with. So we'll take just one or two more questions. The question is, this is for me, can I confirm that Jordan was seen on the video, or is it just possible that she was on it? Another good question. And the answer is, Jordan has requested from law enforcement that she be able to see the video, and she now has an appointment to see it on Tuesday. This has been difficult for her to get through this process, and it wasn't something that she was going to do before, but she now feels that she will be able to see it. And many people feel that they just don't want to see it, and that is their right. They don't have to see it. But all I can say is there is a video. She's on it. We don't know what it shows. She doesn't know, but she's going to try to steel herself and see it because that's her right if that's what she wishes to do. All right, I think we can take one last question from Laura Diaz, who's a wonderful reporter for Fox Channel 11. Was the school oblivious? In other words, did they not know what was going on? Did they not, I think, John, would you like to answer that question? Unmute yourself, though, please.
Thank you. The question of whether the school was oblivious is something that's going to be uncovered during discovery that's yet to come. We know that there were systemic failures on the part of the school that would have detected Riden's recording devices if they had taken reasonable care. Oblivious? Possibly. That remains to be seen. Did the school fail our kids? Definitely. Through their failure to enforce their own rules and procedures that were for the protection of kids.
Thank you. Well, We thank everyone for coming and for your questions. We will be sending out statements to anyone who would like to have one, who requests it, anybody from the press. And we're, again, very proud of Jordan and that she was able to do it. I know that she did it not only for herself, but she wanted to be sure that victims had a voice. And there are many people she knows who just don't feel comfortable emotionally yet, or maybe never, in speaking out. But I know that many of them are grateful to Jordan that she did that, because it's really only the victims who know how they have suffered and are still suffering in many ways because of what Riden did and because how the school failed them. Thanks very much. Have a great day. This concludes our press conference.